So welcome to this update about Brightelearn.ai. I'm Mike Adams, and thank you for joining me here today. I'm the developer of Brightelearn.ai. Just going to give you a quick update of some of the things that we experienced over the last few days, some of the features we put in, things like that. So currently, the engine has exploded in popularity beyond what I had anticipated. So we have 2,300 books published now, and we have 38,000 plus downloads. That's weird. That number was 40,000. I don't know why that number got smaller. Oh yeah, I do know why. I can fix that. Yeah, that's a row limit error on the select statement with the database. So anyway, what has happened is that the engine has become incredibly popular since we opened it up for the free tier. And we ran into some scaling issues that I've been feverishly working to resolve. And as a result, it's very interesting. We've run into some different bottlenecks than the ones I anticipated, but we've cleared out a lot of other bottlenecks. And we had a little bit of downtime. The cover art generator failed and the fallback failed, and we had to rework that. In any case, I'm building out the more robust architecture of the system, and it is scaling very well at this point, and it's only going to get better. So in the last 24 hours, we had over 400 books submitted, and let's see, it's averaging, well, I guess in the last hour, over 50 books. So I guess it's almost a book a minute sometimes, not for all hours, but for many hours, it's about a book a minute that's being submitted. And those are mostly being handled and written quite well. And the bottleneck is the packaging and the uploading of the books. That's where things are getting jammed up. But I have a solution for that. In any case, remember that all the books are free to download and share from Brightelearn.ai. And you no longer need a token to generate a book if you only want to create a small one with 3 chapters. But if you want to create a longer book of 5 chapters, 9 chapters, or 15 chapters, you'll need a token, and the token gives you access to the author profile page for your author name, where you can put in your website address, your social media links, your crypto addresses to receive wallet donations to your crypto wallets, etc., from readers, and many other benefits as well. It also gives you priority processing. And what's really amazing about Brightelearn.ai is that people are using it to create the books that they themselves want to read. At first, I thought people would use it to publish the books that they wanted to write, that they want other people to read. But it turns out that a lot of people are using it to create the books that they themselves want to read, which is great, because probably other people would love to read the same book. And we're going to be working together with an educational group that does homeschooling to encourage students to also create the books that teach them the subjects that they need to learn. And in fact, this whole engine, Brightelearn.ai, this can be very easily incorporated into any kind of a home school curriculum or environment. And if you represent a homeschooling organization, and if you would like to work with Brightelearn.ai, where we could enable your entire student base, for example, to have a special token or something like that to generate books, contact us. Our email is support@brightelearn.ai, and we're here to help spread knowledge and information, to bypass censorship, and to achieve decentralization of human knowledge for the benefit of humanity. Now, I'm the only human developer on this project, as you may have heard, and this has some advantages and some disadvantages. The advantage is I don't have to wait for anybody else to show up for a meeting. I don't have to wait for engineers to finish their like 57 holiday days that they take in all the countries where we've hired engineers, India or Pakistan or Korea or Vietnam or all over Europe. I mean, South America. We've had engineers from all over the world, and they all have crazy holidays, like way more holidays than the United States. And for me, that's frustrating because holidays is when I want to get things done. But of course, other humans don't work that way. They're off, they're gone. And so it's very difficult for me to get things done working with human engineers. That's why I love AI agents, because they're ready to work when I'm ready to work, and I get so much done. It's unbelievable. But the downside is that when things go wrong, well, I don't have anybody else to cover the gaps, you know? I don't have somebody else to step up and say, hey, you take care of this. It all comes back to me. So if something breaks, it's on me. And earlier, the cover art image generator broke. I still don't know exactly what happened with that. But anyway, something broke. And we had to, well, me and the AI agents, we had to work quickly to resolve that, which did get resolved, and that's great. But I'm the only human engineer on the project. And I don't know, I'm thinking about at some point, see, here's the thing. I would love to bring in some other capable people who could help me maintain certain parts of this app, but I don't trust anybody's skills with AI coding at this point. I mean, I only know one person who I would trust with this, and I don't think he's available. Because, you know, I'm vibe coding 8 to 10 hours a day right now, and I'm learning so much. I'm way ahead of the curve on, you know, compared to most other people. I don't want somebody to come in and have the wrong prompt and just wipe out something. It's like, you dropped what table? What? You know, there it goes. Every book vanished. You know, I don't want crazy stuff to happen like that. And I just don't trust anybody else to be able to use these tools yet. So I'm not going to delegate it at this point. And even if I do, it would have to be somebody who I would absolutely trust. So I think about that in terms of the economy and job skills. If you know how to use AI coding engines, if you know how to prompt AI agents, you know, like Anthropic, Claude, Opus 4.5, you've got a skill that is very valuable in the marketplace. And if you're also a high trust individual who knows about alternative media, then you have, you know, valuable information, a valuable mindset that has real market value. So keep all that in mind. You know, it's important to be valuable in this economy as so many people are being replaced and losing their jobs. And I can't think of a skill set that's more important right now than being able to vibe code, to create apps or to fix broken code through very good prompting. And the more I vibe code, the better I get at prompting. And the complexity of the system that I've built here, BrightLearn.ai, the complexity is mind-boggling to a typical engineer. They would look at this project and they would think this had to be like 10 human engineers at a cost of maybe millions of dollars or something and taking 6 months. But no, this whole thing has cost, you know, a fraction of that, it's taken a fraction of that time. But let me give an example. Even if the entire main website goes down, BrightLearn.ai, even if the database fails and that thing goes down, did you know that all the rendered books that you can find at books.brightlearn.ai, did you know that all those books continue to work and they continue to be viewable and downloadable and everything, even if the front end breaks? Why? Because they're separated. They're separated. It's one of the architectural decisions I made before day one. It was like, I know that active websites always break. You know, either AWS goes down and there's some component that depends on it, or, you know, there's a DDoS attack, or there's a database failure, or the database provider has downtime, or there's an upgrade, or there's a downgrade, or there's a cyber attack, or an EMP attack, or a power failure. We've had those ourselves. Well, our static site continues to function as long as the world functions. So it's interesting. Our static pages are served through Cloudflare. Cloudflare is the number one backbone provider of the entire internet. As long as Cloudflare is up, you will be able to get to our books at books.brightlearn.ai. Even if our database goes down, everything else goes down. Even if you can't create books, all the books that are already there will still be there. Now, if Cloudflare goes down and stays down hard, then it's the end of the world. I mean, then like 80% of the internet doesn't work, and Uber doesn't work, and freaking nothing works, and everybody panics, and it's the end of the world. That would be like all of Amazon AWS going down. If AWS goes down and Cloudflare goes down, you're basically thrust back to like 1992. And the 90s weren't that bad in retrospect, but you didn't have AI. You didn't have like a book creation engine. You didn't have chatbots. You didn't have search engines. I mean, imagine the world without all that stuff. So we use Cloudflare as our infrastructure to serve up all these books. And, those are some of the key architectural decisions that I have made to make this a very robust project. Oh, and I should mention that there's no requirement that any databases work at all. All those book pages are completely static. There's no dynamic code on them. And those of you who are coders, you're like, really? There's no dynamic code? Nope. There's not even a web server behind any of it. Seriously. And this is how I've managed to keep the CPU utilization of this entire project, which is only running a few virtual CPUs. I've kept it at an average of 10%. Why? Because I know how to structure resources. See, some big tech company would throw hundreds of millions of dollars at a project like this. They'd burn up a bunch of server farms and everything, a bunch of CPUs. They'd be cranking out 100%. Everything's dynamic, because they don't know how to build efficiently. Because I've been building content management systems for 20 plus years, 25 years almost. Yeah, actually it is 25 years. And I've had to do that with very few resources because I don't have public money, don't have grant money, don't have government money. So I've had to always self-fund. So I've developed really efficient ways to minimize the use of dynamic resources, minimize CPU, memory, database, bandwidth, you name it. And this project is built on exactly all that. So it's probably one of the smartest architectural systems that you've ever seen that can be run on effectively a shoestring budget, which is necessary because we want to keep it free. I mean, I insist on keeping it free. I'm not going to charge people to create books. I mean, I'm always going to have a free tier. Now, there might be cases where we license some core engine or something to some company at some point. Who knows? But there's always going to be free book generation capabilities available to the public. I'm committed to that. That's my mission here. I'm not going to just flip the switch one day and like, yeah, it's $5 a book, I mean, number one, that would contradict the whole point, which is that we want information to be freely available to everybody in the world. And I should mention that what's coming up soon, I've already written the code for this, is the auto translation into Spanish. Now, let me explain something. If you have a book on BrightLearn.ai, if you generated a book, when that book hits 500 reads, that is 500 people read the book, or at least started reading the book. It doesn't have to be the entire book. But if 500 people start reading the book, then it gets queued up for an automatic podcast generation. So it will generate an audio podcast about your book, free of charge. That will happen within a few hours. And then the audio podcast will be available. And then if you hit 1,000 reads, then the book, and this is coming shortly, will be automatically translated into Spanish, because that's the first language we're targeting. And by the way, French is the second language. Now, if your book is already in Spanish, then at 1,000 reads, it will be translated into English. So whatever your first language is, the second language is going to be Spanish, unless your first language is Spanish, in which case the second language is English. And then the third language would be French, unless you started out with French, etc. I mean, you get the idea. Eventually, all the books that hit 1,000 views are going to be in 2 languages, and then all the books that hit 2,000 reads are going to be in 3 languages. And you can see where this is going, right? So at 4,000 reads, Then you get another language, and so on. 5,000 reads, you get another language. It's German. And it's going to be Italian, and it's going to be what? What are we going to do? Chinese. That should be interesting. I'm kind of concerned about all the character sets for that one. And then Japanese, and eventually Russian. Although Russian's not high, it's not on the early part of the list. We're going with the European languages, French, Italian, German. I don't know, Polish. We already have one book in Polish. Greek. I mean, we'll just have to see. I'm going to have to do a little research to decide the order of the languages. But anyway, you get the idea. So the more readership that you bring to your book, you can point people to your book page at books.brightlearn.ai, or you can point people to your author page to promote your books. You start getting a lot of readers, and then you're going to start getting audio and then different languages. And then eventually, as the compute becomes less expensive, what we're going to end up with is something pretty cool, which is full-length audio books once books reach a certain level of readership, and I haven't decided that level yet. Kind of depends on the cost factor. Currently, the cost to produce an entire full-length audiobook is several dollars, and that needs to come down. So anyway, the bottom line is there may be a few little glitches here and there along the way, so thank you for your patience. But number one, I'm committed to making this tool multilingual, global in its reach, free of charge, and to scaling it so that ultimately millions of people can use it. And we're getting there. Right now, only, we have fewer than 1,000 authors, but they have published 2,300 books plus. We've had 48,000 downloads of the books, and we know how to scale. Well, I keep saying we. I know how to scale it. I'll use the AI engines to make that happen. I know how to scale this. We can effectively have millions of authors. It's just a matter of compute and cost. So if you'd like to support us in this project, remember that the number one donor to this project is healthrangerstore.com. Although we welcome other donors who want to contribute, a minimum $10,000 for a donor or an organization if you want to sponsor our book engine. And that will fund lots and lots of books, by the way. And we can have that conversation with you. You can email us at support@brightlearn.ai if you're interested in being a donor or a sponsor of the project. Currently, the default sponsor is healthrangerstore.com. We've donated all the compute, my company, Health Ranger, the commercial side, healthrangerstore.com. And that means that you can support this project by shopping there. If you want really clean food, superfoods, nutritional support products, and much more. Our slogan is healing the world with clean food. Just go to healthrangerstore.com. And also, by the way, if you do shop there, there's a new instructions on the website. Actually, I'm going to bring it up. Okay, yeah, right on the homepage of healthrangerstore.com, it says we are proud sponsors of BrightLearn.ai. And if you click there, you will see instructions of how you can earn loyalty points at healthrangerstore.com, and then how you can trade those points in for book tokens to do full-length books at BrightLearn.ai. And by the way, we will give you 300 loyalty points just by creating a loyalty account at healthrangerstore.com. And you get those 300 points immediately, and it's 300 points to get one BrightLearn token. So you can get one token instantly just by doing that. Or you can get more tokens by shopping at healthrangerstore.com. So anyway, up to you, or you can just use the free tier and do the 3-chapter books that are all completely free. We support your choice either way. So thank you for supporting us if that's something that you choose to do. And if not, then continue to use the tool in the free mode, and we support that. And we will help you reach as many people as possible with your book and your ideas. So Thank you for listening. This is the end of this update. I'm Mike Adams, the AI developer, and I'll have more updates for you later this week. Come back to this channel to get more updates as they become available. Thanks for listening.
Stock up on the long-term storable Ranger Bucket Set. 536 servings of clean organic superfoods for your survival pantry. Certified organic and lab tested for purity. Order now at healthrangerstore.com.